Welcome back to the Paperweights. This week we have a slightly different format. Mike's gone this weekend, so I'm joined by my friend Chris, and he's going to be answering questions about running D&D one-shots, as well as interspersing the questions. We're going to be kind of running through one of his one-shots, mostly narratively, just me as a player and him as the DM. So we hope you enjoy it. And without further ado, here's the episode.
Welcome to Paperweights, the podcast where two self-proclaimed gym rats and shooting enthusiasts delve into the world of literature with a sprinkle of humor. Although their biceps could crush a walnut, don't let that intimidate you. They also have a nerdy side. Mike and Brandon have a voracious appetite for reading, particularly in the fantasy genre, and they want to share their passion with you. So grab your protein shake and your favorite novel and join us for a humorous and insightful journey into the world of books with Paperweights.
The hot tropical air lays heavy with the scent of salt as you wait outside an aged seaside mansion. Adam, known to most around here as Admiral Sebastian, must be in dire need if he sent a request asking for your aid. The last time any of y'all have seen Adam was at least a decade ago. Back then he was a strapping young half-elf in his prime, long flowing hair, often with a giant battle axe, jumping from ship to ship, just raging through the people. Rumors of his vast wealth and growing armada have spread. The letter asked you to be here 3 days ago. However, due to storms, rough travel, you have just gotten here in time. After a couple of seconds, the door is opened by this attractive, beautiful young woman. She is adorned in an elegant summer gown with the fan in one hand, instinctively fanning herself. She greets you in. Please enter. As you follow her, you rush through the house. You see the house is finely adorned, if not overly decorated. But there is a sense of staleness and stillness that covers all the dusty rooms as you pass. You're escorted to a large door that, as she opens it, you see it's a patio overlooking the cliffside and the water below. She motions you forward, saying that Adam is waiting for you. He is quite eager for your visit. As you enter, you see this wizened old man staring at you. Come on in. You took forever. Your delay hasn't left no room for dilly-dallying. He motions you in. What do y'all do?
I apologize. I got your request late, and I step inside.
We don't have time for pleasantries. Just get your asses in here.
Okay.
Well, I'm gonna get to the point because we don't have time to talk, to reminisce about old times. My son has been stolen, and I need your help.
Do you know who stole your son?
Yeah, there's this. I don't know exactly who it was, but I'm pretty sure it has something to do with this. And he slams down a parchment in front of you. It's a little envelope-sized pouch. It's leathery. That's all you can tell from this point, seeing it on the table in front of you.
I seem to have some amnesia, narrator. Do I have any, am I a martial classes? Do I have high intelligence? Am I trained in arts of arcana?
Well, you did choose the wizard, so you are very good in arcana and intelligence.
Okay.
You have plenty of spells available to you.
Does it appear that this envelope could be enchanted?
Roll an arcana check.
Succeed.
You can definitely tell there is some magic coming from it. You can't tell exactly what magic, but you can tell that it is definitely magical.
All right. Adam, is it?
Yes.
Do you normally enchant your your means of communication?
I did not enchant this foul thing. I found this aboard one of our raids. I didn't even know what it was. It just looked like this really cool, weird like little envelope thing. I couldn't open it. Like, you can't open the damn thing. But yeah, like, I didn't really think much of it. I just put it in my oddities. Give me a perception check. Yeah, 10 or higher.
It's above 10. Yeah.
All right. Well, as you stare around, you start noticing around his room, there are all kinds of weird things up there. There's giant chicken legs. There's an eyeball that inside the eyeball, like it's a semi-translucent eyeball, is another eyeball, and it actually kind of moves around inside the jar. There's weird stuffed animals that you've never seen before, like taxidermied animals all over. You could tell he's been collecting oddities that he finds during his journeys.
Wow, you've got a lovely collection here.
Yeah, I don't know what good it is. Just growing dust now.
Then
Look.
are you trained in the arts of the arcanas as well?
You've seen me. Do I look like a magic pusher to you? No offense. I know you've always been great at it, but
Oh, okay. No.
then again, he kind of looks at his withered body and just like, well, I'm not really good at anything much anymore.
And so your son's missing.
He's been kidnapped. I got a letter saying that if I want him back, I need to deliver this package to them by 2 midnights from now, or they're going to sacrifice him.
And the package is this envelope.
Yes.
Okay. Can I read the letter that was sent to you?
Oh, sure. It's somewhere here, and he'll find the letter and hand it to you.
Okay. Read it over. Huh.
It pretty much specifies what he says. They tell you that in tomorrow at midnight, you're supposed to meet with someone in Bowermat to give you the final location for the swap.
Is Bowermat a place I've been before?
Bowermat is outside a game. Bowermat is basically Tortuga. It is every single pirate is familiar with this town. It is huge. It is lawless. It is built on the waters in a bay. It is where you go for fun and villainy and drinking and missions. It is a big port.
Okay. Can I? All right. When casting detect magic, does that just detect the magic, or does it tell the school of magic? Does it tell me?
It'll tell the school of magic.
Do I have that spell prepared?
Oh, yes.
All right. I want to cast it on the envelope.
Well, when you cast it, it just emanates all around you. It's like a constant aura, so you can see all the magic. When you cast it, the room lights up. There is all sorts of magic coming from a lot of the oddities around him. There's some magic coming from him. You could tell it's different school magic, probably like weapons and whatnot, nothing too extreme. However, from the envelope is coming very strong necromancy. Or necromantic magic.
So the letter, does it say who sent the letter?
Or the envelope has necromancy magic, not the letter.
Right.
The letter has no indication on who sent it.
Okay. So Adam, have you made any enemies with any type of necromancers?
Probably. I mean, obviously so.
All right.
You know, I mean, I don't know if you can tell, my form's a little bit different than it used to be.
Okay,
yeah,
so
I got cursed by a witch when I wouldn't marry her. I made enemies all across this land.
All right, I think I'm willing to help find your kidnapped son and bring him back. However, I kind of need a crew and possibly a ship.
Well, that's where I got you. So my best captain, Captain Reginald, is waiting down there. He's already at Merrowshire, which is the little hamlet you came in on. There's islands dotted all around. This island has a little town called Merrowshire. He's like, it's right there at the bottom of the hill. You know where it's at. We got we acquired a little nice schooner ship named the Green Coin, so it hopefully won't attract much attention, and it's fast, so it should get you there in time. Reginald is a good man, but he's been with me for a long, long time, but he's been distracted lately. We've had a few mutinies. We had an actual ship, an entire ship go, and I don't think he's unloyal, but his game hasn't been on lately. I just need someone that I trust from back in the day, someone that used to raid with me, pirate with me, and I just need you there as backup. Hopefully there won't be any fighting, any nothing. It'll just be a pleasure cruise for you. And when you get back, how does 300 gold sound?
300 gold, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, make it 320 gold, 320 gold, and you give me a name. I seem to have forgotten everything about myself, so I would need a name for this quest.
Persuasion check.
Yeah, that fails.
Boom. Listen here, Slocum. Yeah, I went with that name. Listen here, Slocum. We don't have time for this. 300 gold is more than enough. I'd probably give you some more. And he throws out like a little bag. It looks like about like 20 gold or so. Here's for incidentals on your travels there. Have some fun in Bower Mat while Reggie's meeting with the guy. Get the locations. But I need you here, man.
All right.
That's my heir, and I'm about to retire. And
what's your son's name again?
Well, it's Adam Jr. Adam's the best name, obviously. As he tries to go to flex, but he starts coughing and bending over. He's like, ugh. Well, he could do it better than me.
All right, so I accept his quest. So
all right. He gives you a couple more details about just the Green Coin, little just basic information on Captain Reginald, what he looks like, and he sends you off. On the way out, the lady that you saw stops you, and she kind of is looking around. Kind of give me an insight check.
Low roll. It's
you can't really see anything off about her, but you kind of like looking around, comes up to you and goes like, the Admiral wanted me to give you this. Make sure Captain Reginald gets it. She hands you it's a little envelope with a seal on the back of it. It looks like Captain Admiral's seal. I guess give me a quick perception roll. I guess perception or just raw intelligence. Either one.
Low roll 6.
All right, looks normal to you. She also turns like, you forgot this, and she has it on like a little tray. The envelope, like the leathery envelope.
It's on a tray, so she's not actually touching it.
No, she's not touching it.
Has anybody touched it?
Huh?
Has anybody touched it?
Adam did. Adam picked it up and just plopped it on the table.
How old is Adam?
So Adam 10 years ago was a strapping young half elf, and as you know, half elves live to almost 200 years old, and he was maybe like 40, so he's probably about 50 something right now, and he looks like a wizened old man.
Okay. I look around for a piece of cloth to pick it up. I don't touch it.
You could definitely find like a rag and.
Yeah, I do not touch this envelope with my skin.
All right. Even through the cloth, you can feel just a malice coming from it.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if how your character's aligned, but if you are of a good alignment, you can definitely feel an aversion to holding it.
Okay. No, I'm kind of neutral.
All right, then you don't really. It just you can tell it's dangerous, but all
Gotcha.
right. You want to keep going, or you want to break for a
Um,
second?
we'll take our first break in action here. So, good morning, Chris.
Good morning, Brandon, and happy birthday.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. It's been a good birthday so far. Get to play a little bit D&D. Get to record a podcast here, and we get to talk about one-offs or one-shots, which is we just our introduction there was an introduction to a one-shot. This episode is it's gonna have some questions for Chris. Chris and I are gonna have a conversation, and we're gonna intersperse it with this one shot. I'm taking a gamble here, and I hope y'all enjoy. Chris is one of my good friends. We've known each other for coming up on 20 years now.
Yeah.
If y'all remember, a few months ago, I had my friend Justin on, and we were talking about DMing, D&D campaigns, and other tabletop RPGs. And both of them are part of our weekly group where we get together. We don't play the same campaign every week, but we'll alternate campaigns. We'll end campaigns, start new ones, play board games. And just have fun with a group of friends once a week. And so I wanted to have Chris on here as a break, and Mike is unavailable today. He's traveling with his kids for sports. So I want to have a conversation here. So first of all, Chris, how is a one shot different from a full campaign?
So everything about a one-off is kind of compressed. In a full campaign, typically you start off with a general idea. You let the players make their own characters, and when the game starts, you get you somehow have the party come together. Usually, that might take a couple sessions, and everything's very organic as far as that goes. Like the relationship between characters form themselves depending on how the players play, and that's just how the characters are. As far as the actual game goes, it's vastly different. In a one-off, everything from here are your characters, the game starting, here's the plot, here's the the middle either fights or changes or mysteries or whatever you have it, and then the conclusion to everything and the climax and everything and the resolution all take place in one session. Where in a pre-campaign, it's continuous. Even if it's a campaign like Curse of Strahd or something like that, where there's an end, it'll still take many sessions, and the players really can kind of go whatever direction. And I guess it's a generalization. So I guess I'll start also with the prep. Like in a one-off or in a season prep, like if you're doing like session after session after session, you can kind of prep the thing overall, like this is the story I want, and you might have like a general outline, but every session is a little bit different. You got to make sure you're ready or whatnot. In a one-off, everything has to be ready. And like I mentioned, the characters in a one-off, you don't have time for the party coming together. You don't have, oh, you see this guy sitting across the tavern staring at you, or this mercenary group hired each of y'all are coming together. You have to already have the party know each other just because of time constraints. And like I do with one-offs with my friends and stuff, I let them build their own characters just because it's fun to try new things. It's a great opportunity if you ever have the opportunity. Like this seems like a really cool build, but it doesn't go online to level 5, and I don't know if I really will love it, so I don't know if I want to commit to this. Well, if someone's running a one-off and it's already a level 5 or something like that, you can build that character and see if you like it. And then if you like it, you can, you know.
Yeah, that was one of my next questions I had was can a person bring their own characters to a one shot?
Oh yeah,
So
yeah.
can't. So it's like, you know, it's almost like if you're in a so a campaign is you're in a long-term relationship, but then that one shot is, I wonder if I like this person. And so like the one shot is that chance to
Yeah.
go date somebody to see if you like that thing or see if it's interesting. Um, Not that I'm advocating for that in, closed relationships. If you have an open relationship, then, follow
Yeah.
the rules of your relationship, people. Don't.
We do not condone adultery here.
unless it's agreed upon by all members involved.
If it's agreed upon, is it still adultery or is it just like, go for it? I guess technically.
Depends on the institution that's overseeing or the judging it.
Yeah.
um
Yeah. You know, Justin's character, one of the his horrible Batman character, the healing warlock, that was actually one from a one-off he played and he liked her.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Celestine.
Celestine, yeah.
Yeah.
The Batman that, like, we're on a secret mission, like we're on a super secret mission hunting dragons. No one's supposed to know. And every single person he meets, he's trying to be shot like really, really slick. And he's like, yeah, well, we're hunting dragons. It's like, God.
It's like, have you seen any dragons around? Why is that? We're hunting them. Wait, what? You're hunting dragons?
Yeah, he'll talk to somebody and be like, hey, the person will, be shady and he'll be like, so what are you doing here? Nothing. What are you doing here? I'll tell you if you tell me. Okay. We're hunting dragons. What are you doing? Nothing.
We'll continue on this theme of characters here before we jump back in. So if you, as the DM, bring pre-made characters,
I always have them available.
How often are you setting their skills and spells, gear and everything to interact / play into certain parts of the story or create tensions between characters? So like, do you, like, let's say you design this to be up to 6 players and you've got certain puzzles or things that, challenges in the one shot that need to be overcome. How often are you creating one character to have the skill set that's best to overcome that challenge? And if somebody doesn't pick it, then that one is good. That running of the one shot is going to be a little more difficult. How often are you doing that?
So I wouldn't. I don't think I've ever made it so it's dependent on one character. However, one thing I do try to do, not in every one of my one-offs, but in a lot of my one-offs, I do languages. Like I'll have something at some point, at least 1 or 2 times in there. The one-off that I was doing earlier actually doesn't have any languages in it, like issues like this. But there'll be something like you come across a wall. It's Draconic. And I'll always have 2 pre-gen characters that read Draconic, or one that reads Draconic and one that has like comprehend language spell. So hypothetically, like if I always make like 6 or 7 characters. So if I'm playing 4 players, there's a chance no one picks it. And if no one picks it, then that's you're not gonna be able to do that part. I will never make that like a gatekeeping thing from something really good, but it'll be something fun. But I like having that kind of thing. Maybe there'll be NPCs that speak a certain language, and there'll be one person that can hear them. Like I'll do that every now and then with Goblin. Like I have that with Goblin, and sometimes I'll throw a random creature that they face in my one-offs. And I've had it once where the person actually talked to a bunch of, like, from the distance, like made the goblins believe it was another goblin, and did some, like run away or something, or go tell the boss something to make them leave the area. But
I was gonna say, I remember last year I was playing one shot with you at CoastCon, which is coming up. So,
I got 3
uh,
one-offs for it.
yeah, and I remember you laid down all the pre-made characters, and we had 5 or 6 people there, and you were like, "Is anybody gonna take the wizard? Is anybody gonna take the wizard? The wizard has fireball."
Yeah.
And everybody's like, "Why are you pushing the wizard?" No, of course we're not going to take the
It
wizard.
was for my own reasons.
Yes, we found that out later. As you had the ability to control people. It's like, yeah, we're going to control you, and you're going to use your biggest thing. And it's like, all right.
It would have been nice to shoot
fireballs.
fireballs at y'all. That was a goal.
Fireballs are probably one of the most dangerous spells.
They do. It does a lot of damage for us. But yeah, like I would say the other thing that comes up every now and then is this happened in one of the one-offs. I don't remember if you were there for the one where y'all fought all the orcs.
I don't remember.
Like I'll build the characters and I try to make sure the skills are varied. I like to have at least every single skill, at least one character's proficient in it. So when the characters think outside the box, they can be rewarded. And sometimes just random other abilities that they get when it doesn't really matter too much. And one of them was y'all were outside this wall and y'all had to scale the wall. And I forgot that one of them had the ability, some ability that they got, that they could run, like they could move on, climb at their normal speed. So they're basically like, okay, I just run this wall. And I'm like, oh yeah, you can. All right, that makes everything easy for everybody else. All right.
I remember when we played the one body where one person was, oh no, it wasn't that, it was the spiders one, I think.
Okay.
Where somebody could enlarge themselves, and so they enlarged themselves and somebody got on top of the building, and you weren't expecting that whenever so
all of a sudden it went from all the like NPC enemies just peppering everybody to be like, shoot the big guy. Yeah, because that one, the whole final boss of that one was there was almost infinite enemies. The idea is there were so many bad guys you couldn't kill them all. The big bad boss himself was in because you're in like almost like a crater area and there's enemies all about shooting y'all. And the big boss himself is like riding on this giant pig and just stabbing y'all, hitting y'all, shooting y'all, whatnot. And you had to basically collect a few gems that had fallen in there and reassemble them and put them on top of like this structure and turn on the structure. And I didn't expect someone to get large so they could like reach down, pick up a piece, reach up, hand it to somebody else. So there was just one guy standing there doing it all instead of like having to pass it from person to person and do all this teamwork stuff. And I'm just like, oh, all right. I wasn't so much frustrated. I was just like, man, that was good. Like, I gotta.
Yeah, as a DM, you really love, one, you love or either annoyed and in awe at the same time when players come up with a very ingenious idea. They're like, I didn't think of that, but that's a solution.
I love Rule of Cool.
Like, and as long as it's not like metagaming,
Yeah. Like in the all-in-one body, one of the so I love layer actions. I'm sure Justin talked all about layer actions when he was on here.
He didn't. He actually didn't. No.
I remember him talking about that. I swear anyway. So Justin and me, like, he helped me do some of the combat on it because he is a combat wizard. And I love doing layer actions. And so y'all were fighting this dragon. And so what happens is at initiative 20, layer action goes off. And you can the way
And
we
for
do it is
anybody that's listening that doesn't know about D&D, what is initiative? When you say initiative 20,
so whenever combat starts or whenever combat might start, everybody rolls a d20 and 20-sided dice. They add their modifier to it. There's an initiative modifier, and that becomes your initiative. And it starts with whoever's, and that's just turn order is what it is. And just whoever's the highest all the way down to the lowest. And once the last person goes, it starts again. And initiative 20 is when layer actions happen, and that's environmental stuff. So the way we do it is we have the way I did it in that one was there are 4 outcomes that could happen. And whenever it gets to initiative 20, I roll a d4, and that's the one that happens. I think it was like the dragon can do like a sonic like yell, and it does like status effects to y'all and maybe stuns you or something like that. The lava can like because there's like a lava everywhere, of course, because it's a very stereotypical insane fight. The lava like
which
shoots
we
up.
ignored.
Yeah, y'all just ignored all that. And it just like sprays damage. One of them was this is a side tangent, but this was the smartest thing I have ever seen Justin do in D&D, and I was like, that is genius. Because we were having trouble coming up with the 4th, and he was like, make part of the arena fall in the lava. And I was like, because I was playing a theater of the mind, and what that means is there's no minis. Everyone's just imagining what's happening as I describe it. And I was like, but that doesn't do anything. He's like, yes, but it will scare the heck out of the players if all of a sudden the arena starts falling in. They'll feel like they're on a timer. And that happened at the con, and I remember y'all being like, oh crap, we gotta. So it was something that functionally does nothing, but narratively was perfect. But yeah, the last one was stalagmites fall and like hit somebody, like one of y'all has to dodge out of the way of a stalagmite. And I remember there was that chick who was like, we need to shoot the stalagmites to make them fall in the dragon. And I'm sitting there like, you can't, like, but she was so adamant about it. So when it finally got to her turn, y'all weren't just being killed by the dragon. She did it. And I was like, you know what? You shot so good, it works. Like, let's just, I like it because it was something different. She was trying really hard. I didn't want to be like, no, I was like, no.
It seemed like a video game mechanic. Like I could see her thought process being like, I've played video games, and this seems like an environmental mechanic for a boss fight.
Yeah, which it became one. So
yeah. So like, so as a DM, you didn't think of that before, but you're like, you know what? Hey, look, I can see where these players are going, and yeah, that makes sense, even though I didn't think of it, and we can make it happen. Like, you got to be able to adapt, because as somebody that has DM'd before, like, yes, you'll have in your mind like, oh man, if this battle went this way, this would be amazing, and you're rooting for it to go a certain way. However, the other players, they're humans too, and their minds are going to go somewhere different. So like, you may not even get to that certain battle, and you have to be, as a DM, you cannot be as attached to everything in your preparedness as you want to be. So you have to be prepared for that thing you think is really cool and you want to happen. You have to be prepared that they're not going to go that way.
Yeah, like, as a DM, your ideas are suggestions. You have to keep everything in mind that you have a outline, but the characters are the decider, really. Now, I will say, going back to the difference between a campaign and a one-off. In a one-off, you do have to, and this is a term that's used for people that aren't familiar with it, you have to railroad the players a little bit.
Right.
And that means you have to, in a campaign, you still have a story for what you want the characters to do. But like, if you're like, okay, this guy in the town over, they're having, I don't know, wyvern problems, and they need you to come kill them. And if you're like the characters along the way, like meet some, like little passing NPC gnome or something like that, and the gnome's like, "Yeah, I'm going back to home." They're like, "You know what? I've always wanted to see a gnome village," and they start going with the gnome. You kind of go with it in a campaign usually because there's time. You can have a session there. You can have fun. You deal with that. In a one-off, you got to steer them back to the story because you just don't have time to make that happen. So you're like, no, we got like a 4-hour window here. Y'all are going to kill them wyverns. I mean, y'all can do something else if you want, but no, like we're gonna make a story out of that. Or often, like, if that was to happen, like, let's say I was DMing a story and part of the way they met, I had a plan, because you don't do random tables in a one-off. Like in a campaign, while traveling, you might have random encounters, but in a one-off, everything is planned because you have to have it that way. But you might have something where, like, let's say I have it planned where you meet a gnome along the way that needs some help, and you get someone for helping them. Well, and then you're like, well, I want to follow the gnome. It's like, well, the gnome's just going to his village. He's not doing anything. It's like, well, we want to go with him. Maybe have dinner there. I might be like, all right, and the wyverns attack that village. So you're back to the story now.
Like, we can't get away from the wyverns.
Yeah, like I might just be like, because if it's not that, then it's like, all right, we can just role play this for a while, and then the game ends. So.
The title of the one shot on the piece of paper you signed up says "Wyverns?" ? Exclamation, question mark, exclamation, and you go to there and you're like, man, this guy really wants us to fight wyverns. I don't want to fight wyverns. Well, why did you sign up for the sheet, man?
It was there. I told you. The description, we fight wyverns.
You expected this. Like, everybody expected this. Like, well, I don't want this. Like, well, go. Go join the Garden Gnomes campaign over there, or one shot over there, playing Garden Gnomes. All right, let's
see how your crops turned out.
All right, let's find out what happens next with Slocum and trying to rescue Adam Jr. So,
all right.
We're trying to find Reginald now.
Mm-hmm.
We're trying to find Reginald, or have we found Reginald?
So I'm gonna skip ahead just a little bit, just for time reason.
Okay.
So you went down to the local tavern there in Merishire called the Grey Swallow, and it looks like a bunch of old ships kind of piecemeal together on land, made of like just a little building. It's been there for who knows how long. And inside you eventually meet a halfling named Ox and a huge guy named Tiny, and they turn out to be your crewmates. And while y'all are drinking and cavorting, the captain shows up. He is a very tall, dark human with an eye patch on his left eye, and on his shoulders you could see 2 glistening cutlasses. And he calls y'all over to the green coin, and y'all set sail. There's a few other deckhands, but the only pirates there are Ox, Tiny, and yourself and the captain. So the captain pulls, as y'all set underway, the captain pulls you into his cabin. Shut the door behind you.
Up.
All right, so I'm sure Adam has filled you in on the outlines of this quest. He says we are going to go to Bowermat, and I'm going to meet with the person we're supposed to meet with there, and he will give us the location for the exchange. You have the package?
Yes.
I see it.
I give the envelope that the lady gave.
He holds up his hands and says, "You can keep on to that. In fact, I've never met you before, but if Adam trusts you and you already have it, just hold on to it."
There was another envelope.
The little envelope?
Yeah. There was another envelope that I was given to give to Reginald.
Yes.
From the Admiral, right?
Yes. So one's the package, and at this point you would have already determined looking at the package, the leather package, the little leather envelope thing, that you could not open it. There's no actual opening to it.
Yeah, I haven't touched it. Like
Yeah,
I
you
haven't
haven't.
put my
But just
hands in
looking
it,
at it,
and
like flipping it
I'm
over.
not pulling it out. Like I'm,
Yeah.
I'm not showing it around. I'm giving the envelope from the Admiral to Reginald, right?
When you see it, give me an insight check.
14.
A flash goes over his face for the briefest of seconds. A little like almost smirk, smile. You can't really tell, but you could definitely see a reaction. Then he goes back to stone face as he quickly takes it. Thank you. And he puts it on the desk behind him. All right, but you have the leather package, right?
Yes, I have it on my person.
That's good. Well, keep it with you.
Are you happy about something?
Oh no, I just needed that. That was shipping information from our previous things. I've been waiting to hear about it.
Oh,
News.
from the brief expression on your face, I thought you might be expecting some type of promotion or something.
At that, you don't even need to roll insight. You can see almost like his face gets even tighter as he almost grimaces. No, there's no promotion coming my way. I'm about as high as I can get, and with Junior being the heir, there's nowhere for me to go. You know. Listen, we're setting sail. We're gonna have to go tonight to the Devil's Crack, which is a very. It's through an atoll. It's the only passageway through these tiny little islands that are out in the sea. It's known for being very, very dangerous to sailors. However, it's hands down the quickest way to Baromat. So you've been there before. You've survived it before. Most pirates at your age now have at least survived it once. But it's not an easy route. You only take it in times of emergencies. I was like, yeah. So that is all. I would like it if you helped out with the deckhand some on the way. I guess you don't have to. You are technically just here as muscle. But I do need one thing from you. And do not tell anything about this mission, about anything to Tiny Ear Ox. We've had a lot of mutineers lately, and if they hear any kind of weakness, Admiral Adam is already looking quite weak lately. If they hear any kind of weakness, they might turn on him. They might try to steal the ship. They might try to steal the package. They might try to wait in quiet and then like kill Junior when he comes aboard or something like that. I'm not sure. They're good fighters, but I don't know how much I trust them.
And you swear that you are Adam's man.
I mean, did he tell you any different?
He suggested I find you.
Yeah, I've been working
ship,
for
so.
Me and him have been crewmates since we both first got on a ship. I was there when he gained all his notoriety. I was there on his right-hand side the whole time. And he starts almost soliloquying about how I was there for this battle. I helped him off of this one. I brought him back to health. I helped him kill. And he's talking about some of the more famous things that Adam is known for and how he was there and helped, assisted, or actually did the killing himself. So nice. So it's like, of course I'm Adam's man.
Okay.
I'm not even asking you because he called for you, so it doesn't even matter if he's what you say.
All right. Well, I will not speak a word of this then.
All right. And he kind of ushers you out. Give me a perception check before you leave.
12.
That's good enough because it's just perception 10. So, as you're about to open the door, or as you're opening the door, you realize something. It was quiet. No sound whatsoever in his cabin. As you open the door, like when all the sound rushed back in of like the sea and the crew and everything, you realized, wait a minute, holy, that was completely sealed in there.
I'll cast.
I'll
Oh, good.
I
Go
was
ahead.
gonna say I'll save you from your knowledge in Arcana and everything. You know this is enchanted, and you're pretty sure you know this, like the schools. You've heard of this kind of thing before.
Okay.
Yeah, it's divination, I think. I forgot what obfuscation is, but yeah.
Okay. That's interesting.
Yeah.
I'll make note of that. Go back out onto the ship.
The evening passes pretty uneventfully. The other deckhands kind of take over the first evening ship as Tiny and Ox greet you below deck. They have they have a whole bunch of whiskey down there, some dried beef and stuff, and Ox starts talking to you. That's the halfling. He's like, so I hear you're old friends with Adam.
He's heard of my adventures, and he asked me to accompany Reginald on this voyage.
This voyage. So you know what we're doing then.
I don't know what you're doing.
Well, you know what the reason for this? We were just told to help the ship and be here in case Reggie needed us. But you know what we're doing, don't you? Don't you? Come on, give us the news.
Don't you usually accompany Reginald and help out with the ship on the voyages?
Well, normally what we're doing is we're raiding or something like that. We're not just going to Bowermet and seeing after that. It's very mysterious. It's not normal. Like we're on a merchant ship. Why are we on a merchant ship instead of one of our nice, battleships, the cannons and everything?
There's rum in Bowermet, right?
Well, yeah, but you don't want to tell us, do you?
Well, we're there to pick up rum on a merchant ship.
Nah, we got plenty of rum. There's something else. I'm gonna figure it out. So
no, it's a special. It's a special blend of rum that
give me
requested.
Give me a deception roll, and I'm gonna roll their
5.
Like, can't bullshit a bullshitter. He kind of laughs. Tiny right next to him, who's the Goliath, is just like, oh. And you see Ock kind of look around. Turns over, he's like, so, what do you think of old Reggie up there?
What about him?
Can you tell he's pissed?
Like incontinent?
No, ever since so sharing a little news outside, but and he passes you the drink, and he's just like, so ever since Adam said his son's gonna take over, you could tell Reggie's been pissed. Reggie thought so. Have you ever met Junior?
No.
Junior's not a pirate. Don't get me wrong. He's a good kid, but he's not good at fighting. He's not that big. He doesn't have that killer instinct. He has a little trouble deciding things. And I think after everything that went down, their whole life together, I think Reggie was hoping that Adam was gonna kind of sign him on, like let him take over the fleet since he helped build it,
Can I do an insight check on him?
Yes. Let me roll.
13.
Well, I rolled a 1. You can tell there is truth in what he's saying. You can tell he's definitely an exaggerator. He loves drama. He loves God. You get that sense right away. This is a guy that likes to gossip. He wants to get in his cups. He wants to know what's going on. He wants to tell you about what's going on. But there is definitely grains of truth in what he's saying. There's speculation also, but there's definitely truth there. So continue. He's like, yeah, like it'll be interesting to see what happens when all of Adam goes. Because if I was Junior, I'd run away. Because who knows what old Sebastian will do? I mean, old Reggie would do.
Hey, so hold on, out of character.
Mm-hmm.
Do they know that Adam Jr. is kidnapped, right?
No.
Oh, okay. All right. That's what I figured. Okay. I just wanted to verify that.
Yes.
So,
That
all right.
the only
Back-
people that are aware on the ship are you and Reggie.
Okay. All right. So back to that. That's what I thought. All right. Back to the conversations. So you and Tiny are y'all don't like Adam? Like,
Oh, Adam's a
Junior?
great. Oh,
Junior.
Adam Jr. No, he's a great kid. But that's the thing. He's not a pirate. He's not. When he takes over, it's just gonna fall apart. Don't get me wrong. Like, if Adam put Reggie in charge, it probably won't fall apart as much. There's still gonna be some crews that leave, take their ship, do their own thing, but Junior doesn't have a chance in hell.
And I guess did I get a sense of tension between Reggie and Adam Jr.? Like, did I get a sense of tension from Reggie when we were discussing Adam Jr.?
Not so much Adam Jr., but like when you spoke about a promotion, you saw him visibly grimace.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's have a drink and let's have some fun on this voyage, huh?
Sounds good to me.
All right.
So y'all drink, eventually pass out. A couple of the deck, there's always two people on watch. Y'all are passing through the Devil's Crack right now, and it's around midnight or so. You're woken up to go on guard, and you're standing at the front of the ship, since there are some reefs that are kind of hard to see. Luckily, it's a full moon out, so it's much easier to see. There's a crew hand named Lydia that's manning the actual, what is that? The rudder, the steering wheel, manning the helm.
The helm, yeah.
And you hear a splash behind you. Roll a perception check with disadvantage. And for people that aren't familiar with D&D, disadvantages, you roll 2 d20s and take the lowest.
12.
All right, you definitely see some water really near you, but nothing too, nothing that immediate. It's odd. As you kind of walk over there, next to you, corporalizing out of just the nothingness next to you, it's a half woman. Like, her top half is a woman, her bottom half is very scale-like, almost like a fish body, as she is on, kind of like Medusaing on the ship. She reaches out with her hand grazing the side of your cheek as she says, "Kill the crew." Roll a wisdom saving throw.
11.
You are right now dominated. You are going to kill that crew. All right, so we all roll initiative. We can skip that because that takes a while. You go. You are gonna go second, but no one else is aware of anything that's happening. The person at the helm is not really paying attention too much. And you're also near to the decks below where Tiny, Ox, and the other two crew members are hiding or sleeping. What do you do?
Is the person manning the helm, is that just a regular deckhand? Just
regular deckhand. She's just doing her thing.
Attack.
All right, as you
Now, as being dominated, I can't tell people, "Hey, I'm dominated," right?
you cannot.
Okay, yeah. So I go and I'll attack the person manning the helm.
All right, make an attack throw.
That's an 11.
Lucky for you, she just gets out of the way fast enough. Like, she kind of sees you coming with her weapon drawn, so she's kind of already wary. So when you swing at her, she moves out and she starts screaming out like, attack, attack, attack. At this point, you see the siren go below deck. It's now top of the initiative. You hear some action going down below. It's your turn again.
I scream out, I must kill you, and attack the person at the helm again.
All right.
That's a 19.
This time you hit her. However, the only weapon you have is a dagger. So roll your damage.
A 4.
Oh, well, you wound her. She's not down, but she is definitely wounded. She goes screaming back. On her turn, you see her disengage from you and start running as fast as she can. However, you hear sounds of battle from below deck. And as a bless you for all 6 of your sneezes. And after a few seconds of the battle downstairs, your mind is cleared again. The siren must have been hit and lost the concentration. It's your turn again.
There's nothing up on deck anymore.
No, there's just the helms person that's kind of like run as far as she can from you.
I scream apologies and say, I don't know what came over me. It might have been the siren song. If I assume I have knowledge of sirens.
You know they're a thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it must have been a siren song. I saw a beautiful woman and she grazed my face and told me that I must kill the crew.
The helm is the deckhand is kind of like just looking like still wary of you, but not getting anywhere close to you.
I run downstairs.
As you get downstairs, you just make it below deck by the time your turn ends. You see that there is already 2 of the deckhands have sadly been killed. However, Ox and Tiny are engaged in combat with the siren, and they have laid some good hits on her. As the combat continues, you see them fight back and forth. However, the siren is definitely getting the worst end of the stick, and she goes to run, so she meets you on the stairway, trying to move past you. It is your turn again. You are a wizard. Don't forget your spells.
What spells do I have prepared?
You do have burning hands, but you are on a ship. You have magic missile. You have a few general cantrip or general things like shield, mage armor, that kind of thing. But you also do have firebolt and a few others.
Do I have hold monster or hold person?
No, you do have shocking grasp. You're too low level for that stuff though. But you do have shocking grasp.
I'll do magic missile.
All right. That automatically hits her with all the beams. Roll your damage.
What damage die is that?
It's a D4, so it would be 4d4 plus 4 altogether.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 plus 4, 11.
That is just enough. Tell me how it's done.
So, I shoot out 4 beams at her, and they just 2 of them go right at the waistline where the woman's body and the scales start to go, and just kind of cut through, cutting her in half, and then the other 2 pound right into her chest and pin her to the wall of the ship.
You're out. That works. She is.
And there's a hook like for a hat or something that she's stuck on now. The force pushed her back into the hook, and so she's stuck on the wall.
Tani lets out a deep belly laugh, just like, looks like the ship has new art. About a second later, you hear calling from the top deck, Captain Reggie going, "Hey, what's all this ruckus?"
Appears a siren attacked the ship.
Mm.
She wanted me to kill the crew. I'm not sure if there's more sirens below the water, but we dispatched this one.
Good job. All right, he's kind of looking around at the dead bodies. You killed these two down here?
No, the siren did.
Oh.
I was lucky enough not to kill anybody, except for the siren.
And he's like, all right. And he starts going back to his cabin, and you hear him kind of mutter. He's like, I guess we're good to have you as muscle.
It's weird that you call me muscle.
Yeah. And that's that'll be it for the evening. I don't know if you want to stop there or keep going.
Yeah, we'll stop there. Yeah. All right, so next questions. Let's see. I think I asked Justin a similar question. All right, here's a good one. How do you gauge time? How do you gauge the time it'll take to run through a one shot? And so I saw something the other day about some personal trainer or guy posted something. It's like a good trainer knows exactly how long a 45-minute workout is without timing. Like they know when that 45-minute mark hits, like based on just the number of the movements and exercises and stuff. Is it similar to that? The longer you do DMing,
I can always tell generally. Like it's like, okay, we're about an hour in. I won't know the exact time, or a couple hours in. I will need to check for that kind of thing. But that is one of the tricks of writing a one-off is how do I make it just 4 hours, and how do I make it? Because at a con, it needs to be able to be 4 hours. Most of mine run about 3.5 hours, which it's better to go under than over, because if it goes over, if people have other things scheduled or something like that, they might just leave, and the climax is at the end, so you don't want people leaving at the end. But luckily I have a really good group of friends that let me test my one-offs, and so far they always come in at the right. But my real trick, I would say, is stuff it full of fluff. Like there's like this one, for example, this pirate one-off. The original version of it was there was the siren fight, followed immediately by it was a powered down Kraken fight that morning. So the crew would have had time to get a short rest, but not a long rest. And the first time I ran it, the people like to role play a lot, and I that's my favorite thing, is like role playing in a tavern or on a ship, like the stuff talking with Tiny that we just did. I love that. And but the longer that takes, you gotta shorten other things or have stuff you could take out. So like the Kraken fight I took out. Or if I notice, like I want to be like, you also know I need to be here at this point. Like I know that there's a lot that's going to happen at Bowermat. I know that there's potential for a boss fight. I've had 2 groups actually skip the boss fight in this one because they just went off the rails. But I was a boss fight. I know there's at least another encounter that's going to happen, and encounters take a while and they're a little harder to speed up. So I might, like, let's say I could see the counter come in and it's like, okay, I want to be at Bowermat like in an hour and a half of the game starting. So I see the hour and a half approaching, and you're in the siren fight. And there's originally 2 sirens. I just did one because you're one player. There are 2 sirens. Yeah. But like I'll be like, okay, well maybe one of them sees their friend, the other siren, die, and it leaves scared to end quicker or something like that. You got to have plans to leave, like be able to like plans to quicken something in something without ruining it, because like if there were two sirens and y'all were fighting them and you like, you just did that to one of them, like just cut her in half and pinned her to the wall, and the other one gets a few like you hit her a couple times and she leaves, she jumps in the water to leave. That's not as far as I can tell, that's not dissatisfying for the player. It feels like they fought it off, they did their thing.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's always a tricky thing.
Yeah, timing. I mean, you talk about timing in like podcasts too.
Yeah,
and that's a difficult thing.
Yeah.
And like our episodes, we're discussing books. They'll vary, and Mike and I are still kind of learning.
Yeah.
And it's weird. It's like, all right, what do you talk about? Like, and you can go on, and you never know what one person really wants to talk about.
Yeah.
And you don't want to talk about it beforehand because then you already know what the other person's going to talk about. So your conversation isn't going to be a conversation. I mean, a couple of the Harry Potter episodes have been like, close to 3 hours.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's a lot to cover there, and it's either, okay, are we going to, we're going to break it down into like smaller chunks, but have more episodes on a book, or we're going to have a slightly longer episodes, but less episodes per book. So it's like, all right, we're going to spend 6 weeks with 1 hour episodes on a 400 page book, or we're going to spend 2 weeks of 3 hour episodes on the same book.
Yeah.
And then move through. It's like, are people really going to want to listen for 6 weeks in a row? Like, so timing is one of those tricky things.
That's a tricky thing. People, once you get talking, you want to let it flow.
And you don't want to be like, hey, look, we got time. we got to go.
Stop having fun. We got to move on.
Right? Shut up. Like, don't talk about that thing you wanted to talk about. We got to move on.
In fact, one of my the one-off that I know you played it, the all-in-one body one-off.
Uh-huh.
I had this one-off where everybody's been cursed, so you're all in one body together. And in combat, it still kind of goes as normal, except for you are this one body, so have to, it's like if you're the wizard and you want to be far, far away from the big bad guy, but the person before you is the barbarian and he runs up to hit the thing during your turn, you're right next to the thing, so you got to deal with it. But
it'd be hilarious if all the martial classes keep running towards it, and then the arcana classes are teleporting away.
That kept happening. Or I made one of the, because I had 5 pre-made characters for that one, since they had to be very specifically made. But because they all share the same health pool, they all have to have the same AC, the same con save. But I remember one of them was an archer, and every time y'all got into combat, the archer always came after like the barbarian or the fighter. So it was like, you are right next to the big bad, and the archer's just like, son of a. But in that one, so that one was a very oddly structured one, because I started it out with, like it actually started at a boss fight in a dungeon fighting a dragon. And then there was the role-playing area, which in all my one-offs, I always try to have a big block time for that. And then there was some puzzle solving, some other combat, some other stuff after that. And that was a big conclusion. But during the role-playing section for that one, in my notes, it is literally one line. It is, let the players do what they want in the town. And y'all, like every time I've ran that one 4 times now, and every single time the players go into the town and they do chaos. I remember you like at first I think you like snuck around, then you started playing music for everybody in a tavern.
Yeah.
One of the
I was the
yeah, one
bar
of
and I was playing music.
the,
And then
we were trying to seduce people, I think maybe, like, and the other players are like, no.
yeah, it was something about coins or something too, where like, and there was a barrel, like the chick
Yeah,
they put something in a barrel.
yeah, like so y'all killed the dragon because the dragon had like a special gem, and y'all needed so many, like this was the last gem you needed for the person who was helping you to break the curse. And so right when y'all get back in town, one of the players is like, I want to go to the tavern, so I'm just gonna take this gem and put it in a random barrel in town and leave. And the way the mechanic worked was, if you were in control of the body or you were doing something, if someone wanted to stop you, you do opposing d20 rolls. And she just kept rolling so good, no one could stop her until y'all got to the tavern. Then someone beat her, and y'all had to run back to get the gem. And
It was just like
it was chaos.
It reminded me of one of my first times playing D&D, where it was 3.5 version 3.5,
Mhm.
and I was a dwarf fighter, and we came into combat at opposite ends of a hallway, and the hallway was too long, like, to make it across to also attack in the same round. And so my first action was to run as far as I could down the hallway. Well, I did that, and then they cast like I don't think it was fireball. It might have been fireball, but it was a fire spell,
Yeah.
and I could not dodge it. So I got damaged, and it took like half my health. So then the next round, I was like, oh crap, I'm about to die. So I ran back and then got hit that round and went down. So like pretty much like my first combat encounter was me just running, getting hit, down.
Am I doing it right, y'all?
And I think that was I think the module we were playing, which is it's actually a really awesome module that like I would like to run it or play it again. But it was like God, what was it? I forgot the name. And all of my stuff is upstairs. Give me a second. I'll look it up real quick.
So, just while you're doing that, I just want to say the reason I brought up that one-off for the timed question was because one of the times, so I ran it. Because that's built into the I know it's gonna take 4 hours. I know they're gonna role play for about an hour. So one of the times I ran it, the people only role played for like 20 minutes, and then they just wanted to go to sleep. And I was like, oh, okay. But now the game's a little shorter, and I was able to fill it in. Like I had some extra fluff that I normally always have to skip, but luckily I had a little extra fluff in there. But that's like in one of the combats that they did, there was basically a little mystery puzzle that they had to solve in order to move out to the next one.
I can't find it. So it was Spire, D&D 3 Spire Adventure module. Heart of Nightfang Spire is the name.
Okay.
This one's it's a really awesome, and you know him, Sam Marston.
Yeah, I know Sam.
So he was DMing.
Shout out to Sam.
That was back in high school. So that was a really fun module, and I liked it. So, all right. Sorry, that was an aside. Next question I have, and I think, let's see, how am I doing on time? We're at hour and 15-ish minutes. So I think we'll have time to finish up the one shot in one more session. But let me ask, have you ever thought about doing a campaign that was just one shots? So like the adventures of such and such. And the funny thing is not have any story in between the one shots. So it's just like each one shot, it's these characters and they're doing something and they're not referencing anything in between. They might not even reference the other adventures they have. You have no clue what the timeline of all these adventures is. The ages of your characters can change. The genders can swap. Think of like National Lampoon Vacation movies.
Yeah.
Where the children are always different ages are swapped, and then there's like I think there's a third child. Have you ever thought about doing something like that?
No, but I've thought about doing something very similar. I don't know if you want to, but yeah, I've that sounds like something like an anthology, where almost like an American Horror Show, where it's just like every session, it's like, oh, you're playing the same characters, but they're not the same character. Like whole new scenario, none of the previous stuff matters. But the closest I have is I started writing a campaign of they're not really one-offs, but they're short campaigns. They're built like a one-off, and like the first one's maybe like 3 or 4 sessions. The next one's like 2 or 3. The next one's like 2 or 3, and it's like 5 of those. And the idea is that unlike a normal one-off, I'd have the people build their character, but on each one, and they'd be different characters each time. But like the first one would be like you're in a fishing village. I think the first one was, or the first one was almost like a kingmaker thing. Like you're clearing out a town to establish, or you're clearing out some enemies in a little town to clear it out to start making a town. Another one's like in a little fishing village. Another one's your mercenary. I forgot what the other 2 are. But the thing is that after you run all of those little like 2-session things, you have each player pick one of the characters they played, and the choices y'all made in those towns and those adventures has made the world. So you each choose one of those characters that you play. The rest are now NPCs that exist in the world, and you, for something, like some kind of MacGuffin or something, forces them to come together. So it's not quite the same thing, but it is a campaign built off of one-offs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think it'd be fun to be like, I really like this like crazy pirate character. And it's like, I like the one where we were all like religious zealots. I'm gonna be like my really holy roller guy. And it's like, I rob holy rollers. That's in fact what my character was doing.
It's almost like if so what I propose, it could be like, all right, here's a mercenary crew, and they have all these missions, and as opposed to a campaign where like going back to Jason's campaign that we were playing in, it's a living world. Like he made it a living world where if we were asked to go on a mission to do something and we abandoned it and the big bad was still around, we might run into him later and we would see like effects of like that big bad is still off doing this stuff and getting stronger as we're getting stronger and doing other things.
Yeah. It's like, we'll come back to you.
So like that's a living world versus a mercenary campaign where it's like, all right, on this month's adventure,
almost
y'all are doing
monster
this
of the week kind of thing.
Yeah. So like all the rest of the world just, they forget the details of the things you've done, but they're like, oh yeah, you always do these things for us. Yay, you're back again.
There's no real great threat to the world, but there's plenty of problems, and you know what? They're living in that world, doing things. That could be pretty cool. Like, oh man, you know what you could do? Like, so I DM. I think this is my 3rd year at Coast Con DMing, but I'm not like an established DM. Like people don't know me, you know. But if there was like an established DM that had like was doing that, and like every con he went to was just another adventure with those players, you know, with those characters, and so you'd be like, oh, you know, like, you know, Joe Smith is coming down, and oh, he's gonna run another one. I don't know what he's gonna do, but man, I really want to play, you know, Grog, his barbarian, you know, or something like that. I love that guy. He's hilarious. I hope I can get there and get that character. You know?
Or this would be absolutely hysterical to me, and would be cause a lot of interest or interesting things to happen. Is those characters persist regardless of the players that are at the table playing them, and so the DM keeps track of the things that they did in the past, and the NPCs bring those up to those characters, and the player that's like there that day, they might not be the same player from last year, right?
Oh yeah.
Or that player might have forgotten what happened last year, and they're like, and then that affects the story.
Like one player is playing like a thieving character or something like that, and like maybe, you know, as I leave the tavern, it's like I see the gold behind the, can I get it? And it's like he steals it. So next year, like they're in the same town, they go to the tavern, and the bartender just yells like, I know you stole my gold last time. If I see your face around here, and it's just like, why is he yelling at me? It's like, oh, you don't remember? Like,
you don't remember what happened? I mean,
like, I wasn't here last year. Yeah, but the person playing your character stole the gold last year.
Yeah, and you just advertise it as, hey, this is a continuing thing from the table last year.
Yeah, it's just
so everything that happened is continuing from there. That would take a lot of notes from the DM as well, though.
I mean, like, surprising how little notes I actually take. Sad.
Do what?
Surprising how little notes I actually take.
Yeah, I like the idea of taking notes during D&D. However, what happens with me is as I'm writing the notes, I'm missing what's going on, and so then it's just like, all right.
And while I'm DMing, I'll take some notes. But mostly what I do is I like scratch something. Like if someone does something really cool or suggests something, really, especially like during our testing phases.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hey, I think you should swap out these, or I think you should change, you know, like maybe make this character do this. I'll stretch that out and I'll write that down. But it's not really, I guess that's a note, but I have a notepad where I actually write down notes, but I mean, at the end of a session, it's because I'm normally, you know, like having to listen, having to roll, do something.
All right, so you want to finish up the story?
Yeah, sure.
You can fast forward to wherever you need to. That's fine. This will be the last portion.
You know, I'll change the ending slightly, but I can change it. I can do it right here. So you get to Bowermat. It's, you know, midday the next day, and the captain, you know, he's like, all right, well, I'm gonna go meet with the I'm gonna go meet at the rendezvous point. Tiny, Ox, Slocum, y'all hang around here. We might need 2 more crew members, maybe. I'll, you know, deckhands, since 2 of them are dead and the other one's not coming back. Kind of looks at you.
The helmsman.
The helmsman. She is not returning.
Helmswoman, as it is, she does not want to come back. A measly 4 damage.
I mean, she has 5 hit points, so.
Weakling.
But so he's like, all right, well, I'm gonna, and he as he turns, he goes and he locks his door to his office, and he leaves. He says, I'll be back by nightfall. Tiny and Ox are like, all right, well, we're gonna go over to we're just gonna head over to the local bar and just get some drinks. You want to come with us?
Sure.
All right.
They got rum.
All the rum you could drink. So, outside a game, this is one of my favorite DM things I'd like to put in as many games as I can. Right here, the players have many choices they can do. I like to, even though I need to railroad the players as much as I can, I want there to be choices, freedom of choices. So the players can go with Tiny and Ox to the bar, where I'm going to kind of skip ahead a little on this. The only thing that will really happen there is they meet this guy named Randy. And Randy used to be a crew member of Adams, and they mutineered, took one of the ships, and he's buying you all the drinks. If y'all go to the brothel next door, he is buying everything. He is trying to convince you that you should help him commandeer, help him get rid of Reggie, commandeer that ship, go back and just take as many ships as you can from Adam. Because the players at this point have not spilled any beans about the actual mission, Randy, Tiny, Ox, they're all oblivious to it. So they just want you to mutineer. Keep talking about how weak Adam is and how Reggie's untrustworthy anyway, and Reggie's going to do it himself if you don't, so you might as well save Adam the trouble. The players also can follow Reggie. The players follow Reggie. They see him go to instead of going to the district downtown where the Red Spitter is, which is this nice fancy tavern, in the nicer part of town, the actual nice part of town, he instead goes to the warehouse district, which is pretty not too busy right now, and he sneaks into a warehouse. And this is a sneak mission. So one is role play, one is sneak. And there you hear all kinds of stuff that Reggie's trying to do. You can't hear exactly what he wants to do, but if you're listening in, trying to hear what he's talking about, I have, depending on how high you roll, all the different things you can hear. And then you can follow him to the Red Spitter itself. At one point, I had a player sneak in so the Red Spitter is like a really highly guarded place. Next door is like a New Orleans style bar that's like multiple levels with big open terraces and open balconies and stuff. And you can get on one of those and try to overhear or watch. But I've actually had players sneak into the Red Spitter itself to listen in on his meeting with the people. Another thing you could do that I've had players do is they go, they try to get dockhands themselves, get people that will help them to commandeer the ship, because they kill Reggie themselves and take the ship. The first time I ran it, that happened, and I was just like, all right, let's go. We're doing this. Also, another thing that I've had almost every group of players do is break into the cabin to try to find that note that was given to them and figure out what was going on. So, at this point, you've met, I'll go ahead back to the story. So you've met with Randy, you've heard his whole spiel. I don't know if you've partaken in his rum and everything, but he's, buying drinks, get ready to go.
I partake lightly.
He keeps telling you, he talks to Tiny and Ox. He's like, all right. So, you good? You on for the mission? We're gonna do the right thing and stop Reggie from backstabbing Adam. Tiny Ox, we can trust this guy, right? And they were looking at you like, yeah, right, Slocum, you're with us.
What do you mean, Adam backstabbing?
We gotta take care of Reggie. We gotta get Reggie out of the picture and take the ships before Reggie does it to Adam. We gotta keep Adam's fleet under one new name.
Why do you think Reggie is going to backstab Adam?
I mean, it's obvious, isn't it? Like, he is pissed off about Adam Jr. He's probably gonna kill Adam Jr., kill Adam, take the ships himself. Something's up with him lately.
I don't think it's that obvious.
Well, if you knew him, you'd see something's up with him lately. Come
I
on, what
don't.
are you saying? Plus, all
Mm,
the gold, all the drinks you can have.
Sure.
All right, whenever here's, and I have proof too.
Do I have message?
You do, but you do. I think you have the cantrip message, yeah.
Can I message Reggie?
He is too far away. So, Randy's like, so I got proof too. Whenever y'all leave here, wherever y'all are going is probably further north. And the most direct way is open sea. However, if you go next to the coastline, which takes longer, and I don't know what y'all are doing after this, but time's always of the essence. There's the town Merrow, the little port town Merrow, which you are familiar with. That's Reggie's hometown. I will put down $1,000 when y'all leave here, or 1,000 gold whenever y'all leave here. Reggie's gonna want to go to Merrow for some reason. Some reason he doesn't want to talk about, because that's where he's planning it. He'll have people there. He's planning the coup there. And you know what? I'm so confident we'll follow y'all. And when he turns to go to Marin, that's the sign for you. And he's pointing at Ox, a little halfling. I want you to get into the crow's nest, and I want you to just take a big barrel, the biggest barrel you can, the empty barrel, and I want you to just throw it overboard, and that'll be the sign for the attack. And then that's what we do. We'll come and assist you, and we'll take care of Adam and we'll take care of Reggie, get him out of there. We'll take that ship. We'll head back.
And this is Randy.
This is Randy. Randy's all about it.
And he has a crew.
He has a crew. They all are they're mutineers of Adam and Reggie. Like they are the scum. But they buy drinks. They buy you all the drinks you want, and they promise you adventure and money. So you make it back to the ship eventually.
I messaged Reggie.
Reggie hears you as he's getting, like, y'all are already at the ship before Reggie gets there. Reggie kind of is turning the corner and hears your message. What are you saying to him?
Be warned, Ox and Tiny and a guy, Randy, are planning a mutiny.
Thank you. So when they get back to the ship, he has a couple. He actually has a couple deckhands. He takes about 30 more minutes to get to the ship. Even though he was right around the corner, it takes about 30 more minutes to get to the ship. And comes back, he has a couple deckhands. They look a little more stout than the previous ones. And he's like, help Tiny and Ox get the ship ready to go underway. Slocum, I need to talk to you about something in the cabin. So I'll go in the cabin. As soon as the door shuts, thank you. I feel I can trust you. So I have the location for the exchange. It'll be in Bleak Caverns. They say all I need to do is give them, just take a rowboat in there by myself, give them the package, and they will give me Adam and we'll get out of there. I don't know what they're doing, but it seems that this is just a means to an end. I don't get the sense that they're going to betray us because they get nothing out of it. They might, but that's where we're going. As far as Tiny and Ox go, I've brought a couple people I trust on board to help us. And on the way from here, we're going to stop by Merrow. I know Marin. I know a lot of people there. And when we get to the dock hands will definitely help us out. And we can take care of it all right there and get Tiny and Ox off the ship. If that's all, just be ready for anything.
All right, sounds good.
All right. You see him, and as you're leaving, he asks you to open his window. And as you open it, you realize as you open it, you hear sound come in. So it's no longer just he's somewhat aware of the outside world.
Okay.
Yeah, because when the door's shut and everything, you can't really hear too well outside. So you make your way. As you get to Marin, you start approaching. As you get to the dock of Marin, you see a barrel being thrown from the crow's nest into the water. We can kind of quickly go through this combat. The deckhands will immediately already be on Tiny, the Goliath, and Reggie will be ready also, and they'll strike down Tiny really fast as a couple of rowboats full of pirates, like quickly, they must be slightly magically enhanced to move faster, quickly, get on the ship. After some combat, you finally get to kill the very, very foul-mouthed Randy. And Tiny and Ox. Unless you let any Tiny the Goliath will beg for his life. He'll be the last one alive after they're all dead, and so combat's over now. Tiny's like, oh, I swear I was just doing what the little guy said. I don't care.
Throw him in the brig.
All right. So,
I advocate for throwing him in the brig.
So Reggie leaves, and he takes Ox with him. It seems that you can tell when y'all get to Marin that Reggie is a big deal. Like, everyone in town knows him. He's treated like, think about like in a small town, the favored son of the largest family, kind of like the cops know him, everything. He says, throw this guy in the prison, or in the jail, they do. After like 20 minutes, he comes back and he's like, all right. He has a couple more deckhands, and y'all set sail for the Bleak Caverns. The rest of the journey is uneventful till you get there. So the Bleak Caverns are in a northern part of the land, and it's these series of these little alcoves that are on the cliffside. And you're aware of this one. This one's very famous, because you can get a rowboat in there. You can even get a couple rowboats in there. It's so big that inside of it has like a little docking station and everything, like a little dock that's built on. Has some room, and it has some caves that go deeper into the cliffside, and even a couple that go up to outside on the surface. It's a great spot for smuggling, for deals you don't want people to see, things like that. So he has one of the rowboats that towing from that was Randy used.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, all right, I'm gonna get in this, and I'm gonna go in there and make the exchange. Can I have the package?
And he didn't want to touch it before, right?
He didn't want to touch it before. He wanted you to hold on to it.
Okay. And they said that it has to be one person?
They said they just wanted me alone. Do you want to come? I'm sure I can explain that one person has to row while.
That's insight check. That is a natural one. Do I have invisibility?
You do. You actually do. Outside of game, in my one-offs that are very heavy role playing like this one, I love giving at least one character invisibility because they do stuff with it and it's fun.
All right. So for plausible deniability reasons, I'll agree to let him go, but then use invisibility and get in the rowboat and go with him.
All right.
So I'll sneak into the rowboat.
So give me stealth with advantage to see if you can get in the boat without making the boat rock. I'm gonna give him. No, he actually rolled pretty good.
High is 19.
Okay, it's better than his. He rolled a 17 on, I guess, his insight check.
I rolled a 16 and a 19.
Yeah. He would even though he is a veteran seaman, or seaman, he couldn't really tell the rocking of the boat. He kind of got in when the waves were already cresting. So he rows into the cavern. Takes a few minutes, maybe like 10. It is very fast, so there's definitely some kind of enchantment on there that helps speed it up. As you get into the cavern, you see this large alcove opening. There are at least a dozen hooded figures, all turned and staring at this there's this body that's wrapped to a large metal pole that's sticking out of a sarcophagus that's been opened. And it's this, withering old body, very heavily decayed. Like, think like a mummy, but it's 8 feet tall. And they're just chanting. They are all chanting in unison. The cavern is filled with it. You definitely feel a wave of fear come over you. Roll me a wisdom saving throw.
9.
So you don't have the fear condition, but you definitely feel apprehensive. There's no, like, you are not going into this like, oh, this will be easy. You definitely feel there's something happening here. This isn't a good place to be. As you get to the dock, you can see that there is a guy with his hood down. He's completely bald, almost completely featureless, like if someone just drew generic person face. And he pale as can be. And he is chanting, and he stops and turns and stares at y'all, or stares at Reggie. He's like, the exchange, you have the package? Reggie holds it up, holding the cloth. He saw you with the cloth, so he's like, all right, like, I'm not touching it either. And he's like, good, bring forth the prisoner. A couple other hooded guys go, and they pull out a young looking man, maybe like 20 years old, and start walking him down the dock. He's like, all right, we shall make the exchange, and then you leave. Reggie is nodding his head, all right. So they go to make the exchange. Are you doing anything during this, or are you just observing?
I'm just observing.
Well, they seem to make the exchange. There's a little hesitation, but they eventually swap, and you pull Adam, or he pulls Adam Jr. into the boat. Adam, he is definitely not good, definitely like malnourished and probably sleep deprived, and he's been beaten a little bit. Nothing like severely beaten. Like, he's more like, ugh. So even though you're there and he's probably falling on you, he doesn't notice. However, if you try to spring out of the boat, you will need to make a dexterity saving throw to get around him. And Reggie just kind of looks around as soon as they get the package, they just go right back to ignoring you. Reggie starts to leave. Do you let this cult do their thing?
So they have this thing now, right?
So this is a point where there were 2 final missions. There's the given final mission, and there is the implied final mission. So the given final mission is do the exchange, get Adam Jr. back. The implied final mission is there is a evil cult that, since you didn't follow him, you didn't see the cult members earlier, and you didn't really ask around about them or anything, you don't know they're like a doomsday cult trying to bring about, like, resurrect a vampire deity. But they're about to resurrect a vampire deity.
And message can only be heard by a certain...
Yeah.
Okay.
But the moment you cast it, you're going to lose invisibility.
All right. When we get out of sight of the cold.
All right, so you are now rounding outside of it.
I whisper to Reggie and like, hey, we have...
Give me a perception roll.
13.
The chanting has gotten a lot louder. You can hear it clear as day outside the alcove. And you start to see some yellowish green light shooting out from that area.
Reggie, I think we have to try to stop this cult from doing its thing. Do you think we can convince the crew to come in here?
Yeah. No, I hope at least at least one other person survives to help me get back.
We'll leave Adam Jr.
With one of them.
with two of your most trusted people, and then we'll bring the rest of the crew in here and try to stop.
So after planning, this is just me doing time management stuff.
Yeah.
So after in real game at this point, most likely you'd still have time, but just so you get back.
We're at, for the podcast, we're at an hour and 45 minutes. So.
I don't know what the limit was for it.
Well, we'll try to wrap it up soon, but yeah.
So you get a plan made with the other people, and you know that there are some openings around the alcove y'all can get to overwatch what's happening. You get into position where you can all ambush from 4 different directions at the same time. Y'all get into position. You see all the cult members, there's a dozen of them, including the bald guy, standing around this thing now. The thing has been dissolved open. The leather pouch is like cracked open now. You didn't stay to watch, but it was actually a finger, the vampire's finger to complete them. As the chanting goes on, you see the guy that was pale just stab himself, twist, pull it out, and as he died, the blood sucks up, starts swirling around the vampire thing as it starts to become, starts to form, starts to become more alive, starts to get juicy. The muscles start to form a little bit as they're chanting, and then you see all of the next guy, like in a circle, like the next one next to him, start to pull out a dagger. What do y'all do? Or what do you do? I guess it'd be if y'all jump into combat, it'll be initiative.
So it seems that we can't let them blood themselves. So does anybody in the crew, are they just like Marshall? Do they have spells? Anybody?
Yeah, Marshall. You're the only spellcaster.
Okay, and I don't have hold person?
You do not have hold person. You are level 4 for this game, so you have level 2 and level 1 spells.
Do I have sleep?
You do have sleep.
Okay. When we get closer,
you are close enough to cast it.
Okay.
You are. Y'all are surprisingly close. In fact, y'all probably should have been seen by now, but they seem to literally just be like, "This is our world. We're about to die and bring this about."
I cast sleep. Focus on the guy that has the dagger in hand first.
Roll initiative.
1.
All right. Well, you do get a surprise round. So I forgot what sleep is. I'm just gonna look it up real fast and
it's get a certain number of hit points. Yeah. And you choose.
It's 5d8, so that's 4.5 times 5. That's 9, 18. All right, so 2 of them go down. Now initiative goes. All right, so initiative starts. First person to go is Reggie. Reggie jumps down and he starts swinging at him. He gets one of them. He cuts down one of them. The 2 other guys have.
Does the blood, when he cuts down one, does the blood do anything, or?
It does not.
Okay, so it looks like it's only a sacrificial blood. Okay.
So the two guys on the 2 other deckhands, they just have bows. They're not getting anywhere close to this. They shoot at the big vampire thing, and one of them hits dead on. Actually, that's a crit. So it hits the thing dead on. Roll me a perception check.
2.
All right. You didn't notice anything really in particular about the hit. It looked not that impactful, but you're not sure. Make a wisdom saving throw as the chanting all of a sudden just shoots into your brain and you feel it within your brain.
15.
They need to also make wisdom saving throws. All right, one of them failed. Actually, two of them failed. All right.
I got a 15.
You made it. So you only take 5 points of psychic damage. As does the rest of them, except for the one that failed. One of your deckhands failed. You see him screaming, ah! And as he screams, one of the cultists that were killed, not sacrificed, but killed, gets back up and starts chanting again. It's your turn.
All right. How many cultists are left?
There's 2 asleep. There's one that already sacrificed himself. There's one that's dead. So there's 8 left that are up. The one that did get back up looks still really hurt.
And the vampire, is it doing anything? Or the vampire looking thing?
It literally looks almost like a statue. It's not. It can't move or anything. It doesn't have eyes. It looks almost like a statue.
All right. Magic missile down the line of the other guys.
All right. So roll me 3 D4s if you're using level 1.
Do I have a level 2 spell left?
You can. You want to do a level 4? I'm a level 2. That'd be 4 D4s.
Yeah. 4, 2, 6, 7, 9. So 9 plus 4, 13.
13. So 3 of the guys that were hit, take it and they're ugh. And when you hit the guy that was just brought back up, he goes immediately back down.
Okay.
All right. Reggie swings again. Reggie gets 2 swings with those nice cutlasses. Hits both times. Takes down the 2 of the guys that you hit. He finishes the job. So there's 2 guys asleep, 1 that's sacrificed, and 4 that. Right after this, though, another one of them sacrifices himself. And you see the thing gets more corporealized. You're not sure how many more sacrifices really have to happen, but it might not be that many. You're not too sure yet. Give me a religious check. A religion.
4.
Okay, yeah, you don't know anything about
the dice
blood sacrifices.
The dice hates me today.
They do. Next up is the two crew members. They fire. One of them fires at the big guy. Hits square on again. You could tell this time definitely it did nothing. It's like shooting a statue. The statue's not going to hurt. And he hits. The other one swings at and misses. So they're not very helpful, but they're there. It's your turn again.
Okay. So all the other 3 guys are still up, or what?
Everyone that no one on your side is down.
No, it's up, but the cultists.
One of the guys you hit is still up, and there are 6 more other ones, I think, that are still up. So there's 7 that are up. One of them that's injured.
Okay.
8, 6. No, there's 5 actually. One that's injured, 4 more.
All right. What? I have Shocking Grasp as a cantrip. Burning Hands as a cantrip.
Yeah, Burning Hands is first level spell.
Oh, it's not a cantrip. It's okay. Do I have anything that does radiant?
No.
Okay.
Wizards don't typically do that.
Gotcha. I shout to the archers to focus on the cultists, and then I am going to. What other range attack spells do I have?
Firebolts.
How many slots I have left?
You have 3 level 1s left.
3. Okay. I firebolt the vampire.
Okay. Roll your attack.
18.
All right. As you shoot, it seems to be impervious to the damage.
Okay.
However, make a wisdom saving throw as your companions make a wisdom saving throw. Crap.
3. I failed.
All right, that's 3 failures. Take 8 more damage, not that much, thankfully, and 2 more of the things come back to life. So there are now 7. One of them ritualistically kills themselves. Like, so there's now 6 guys up, and the vampire is actually starting to get a little bit of skin starting to form.
Okay.
It is back to the top of the initiative. Reggie comes down there. Reggie. So there's 7, 6. Reggie kills one of them. There's 5 guys left. The archers listen to you, and they each shoot at the same guy, but together they kill him. So there are 4 guys left. It's your turn.
All right. Ranged cantrip at one of the cultists.
All right.
Crit. Natural 20.
You fry him. You don't need to roll the damage. You fry him. There are 3 left. Now make that wisdom saving throw.
9.
You failed. Only one made it. So, that's 10 damage, psychic damage, as it just racks your brain. And 2 more of the cultists come back. So there's 5. One of them, you see, does itself. There's 4. And the ones that are killing themselves, are always the ones that seem untouched. The ones that are being brought back are kind of, their sacrifice will mean something, but not as much. This is outside of game. I'm just letting you know. So if we were this battle's typically played like on a little tabletop, so you can see the ones that are injured versus the ones that are at full health. But yeah, so there's 4 left. Reggie comes in there. Reggie gets 2 of them. Reggie is a good fighter. Normally, they do not let him fight in this battle.
Okay,
So
we're gonna go. We'll go. I'm just gonna continue attacking the live ones. So,
yeah. Well, there is 1 left now after the round. So there's 1 left for you.
15.
You got him. So as you kill the last one, you start to feel the psychic wave shoot out again, but halfway through it just drops. The entire feeling of fear that you felt when you anticipate, like when you got in there, just drops as for the first time the vampire body starts moving as it's screaming, ah! And his body slowly devolves into ash as it just blows in the wind. And after a few seconds, there's nothing there. In the aftermath, as you make it back, on the way back, Adam is below deck. He is
Junior?
Adam Jr. is below deck. He is on a cot. He is being tended. One of the deckhands just happens to be pretty good at medicine, so helping him. Reggie calls you into his office or into the cabin. He's like, look, you did really good in there. I want to thank you. I have one more favor to ask you. Don't tell Adam what happened to me. Tell him I fell in battle. I'm leaving when we get to Merrill. I'm retiring. I wish Adam and Adam Jr. all the best. I hope they do great. I am just tired of this life, and I just want to spend some time on the countryside. I've already set it all up. I have a wife waiting for, or a woman waiting for me that I've been courting. We're going to get married. We're going to move inland, and I'm just going to live a simple life. But I don't want Adam to know that. So can I trust you?
Sure.
Thank you. He kind of like moves towards you, kind of like he kind of awkwardly reaches out for a hug, Like
It's like Voldemort hugging Neville
kind of like
or
kind of
no.
like he doesn't normally do this, but he feels very grateful and everything. You
No, he hugged Malfoy.
he hugged
Yeah.
Neville.
Oh, he did hug Neville. Okay, yeah. That's, all right.
What was it, Malfoy? It might have been Malfoy actually. Yeah, it was Malfoy.
It was just a very.
Neville would never let you. It's like ah. It's like where that movie took a really weird turn.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, but
yeah, so yeah, that's the game. Little things that you could see if you went, like if you broke in, you found the note or whatnot, or if you, I mean, we were compressed, so you couldn't do a lot, but like in the game, the players talk a little bit more, usually with the woman that's there, or they talk with Tiny and Ox more, and they learn that Adam goes through wives really fast, and that his latest wife, Luna's there, and she's absolutely beautiful. All this stuff. If you went and followed Reggie when he went to the warehouse and listened to him, you would hear him talk about Iluna. You find out that Iluna is eloping with him. That letter that was sent, even though it looked like cargo, the cargo made no sense. Like if you anyone with like ship vehicles or something like that would instantly be like, okay, this is nonsense. What is this really? And it's a note being like, hey, meet me at this point. I'm gonna get everything set up at Marin. And so he was up to something shady, and he was up to something that is kind of a betrayal of Adam, but it's to run away with Luna, who's just not happy.
okay, that's cool.
I don't know. So that's that one off compressed.
Awesome.
Got any more questions?
My final question here is: you have a tendency, you, Chris, have a tendency to come off as ambiguous and questionable in motives and morality. How does this feed into being the DM, especially in a one-shot played at a con where the players may not even know each other?
Yes. So in most of my one-offs, the NPCs are pretty straightforward. I don't try to make them. However, one thing I do not like, and I think this is where my reputation came about, is typically in one-offs, or even when I do campaigns, I make my NPCs combat inept. Like this always happens. Like so I'll kind of use this one as an example. Every single time I run this one, the two sirens mess the players up. There's always one player that goes down, one player that gets, and a couple players that get horribly injured. At least two of the deckhands die. Like, it messes up the ship. And then as soon as it's over, Reggie just opens up the door and just is like, hey, keep down the racket, and shuts the door. He doesn't know what's going on. He just hears like all this stomping. Like, he doesn't hear anything. He just feels like the stomping and the ship kind of swaying, kind of odd. Like, no one's really manning it. So he's just like not part of it, you know? So that makes the players instantly dislike him. Yeah. And I do that partly because one, I think it's funny. But two, I don't want my NPCs to be the stars of the combat. I don't want them to get the kill. I don't want them to, like, they'll heal. Like, if I have an NPC that's healing, he'll do healing. He'll do healing great. They'll do non-combat things like cast bless or do fairy fire or that kind of stuff. But I don't like them doing actual damage. Maybe like minimal damage. And I think that's come off as your characters can't be trusted because they're in combat. They're not helping us. And that in cons that does happen. Like, we will have we'll have players instantly dislike certain NPCs for that reason, which is fine because like you're however, there are also other times where one of my characters is like completely innocent. Like, he is literally like, hey, thank you for, like, one of them was found in captivity. He's found in prison being tortured. You save him and he helps guide you to he helps guide like the people to the next plot point, basically, like through the city. And when I play that at a con, it is what it is. The players are like follow him and help him, even like he's injured, so they want to heal him and help him. But when I play with the group that knows me, they want to kill him right away because they think he's going to turn one.
Your strangers are too trustworthy.
Yeah, well, the thing is, I think the people that know me are a little too eager to not trust me. Even I have had very little betrayals. Surprisingly, like this one has the most, but even those are straightforward. Like Randy, Tiny Ox, they tell you beforehand they're going to do it,
Yeah.
Like I did have a one where a couple of the NPCs were this kind of zombie that once they eat someone's, like, consume somebody, they can take their form.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a whole other party of that then turned on the party in the middle of a combat. That was fun. Yeah. Overall, I will say it does give me one benefit. Big benefit is it makes it so I can't rely too much on the hidden traitor twist. Because my player, like the player of the group, y'all sniff that out so fast. I can't rely on that as like a plot point, but I can still have it in there. And if it's as a, maybe like a side thing, like, like a side little fun trope or an obvious trope, or even something where it's a red herring. Like the latest one you did, the one with the actually you weren't there for that with the Kraken, were you?
No.
So in that one, you're all playing like nepo babies. You're all like first generation, super rich kids of the town, like the leaders of the town. So you're all, whatever. But the high advisor to your parents is also there, and he comes off smarmy and slimy, and you see him speaking with like a delegate for like a nation that y'all are at war with, and being kind of shady. And he's supposed to come off that way. And the reason I did that was so you don't trust him and you don't follow him, but he's actually doing everything right. So it creates false, false bad players, which then when you confront him, you can realize, okay, he's either, you realize, okay, he's not actually doing bad. He's actually trying to do something helpful. But it makes it, the fact that a lot of people don't naturally trust my characters, make it easier to do that kind of thing. Where it's like, hey, this guy, I want you not to trust him, and me being the DM, that's half the job right there.
Yeah.
I barely have to do anything. Like, you remember Mr. Meeseeks or Mr. Essex? Sorry.
Yes.
So
I remember Mr. Meeseeks too.
Mr. Essex was an NPC that I made. I realized later that it's Mr. Sinister, but Mr. Essex was a character I made literally trying to be a Mr. Meeseeks. He was just, oh, guys, awesome. Yeah, let me help you. He was part of a mages guild. He said, hey, if you come with me, I'll give you a whole bunch of money. You can get all the gold you find. He did take the gems to do magical stuff with it, but nothing like I'm going to sell them myself. Just I'm doing magical stuff with it. He helped them get through combat. He got to the end. He got them there. He then, got in trouble with his mages guild to use teleportation circles to save the party. Then got his guild to help them transport to the next place they needed to go, like insta teleport there. And then he got them a job, got them housing. They hated, didn't y'all? Y'all hated Mr. Essex. Y'all were 1,000% convinced he was the big bad. He was trying to sucker y'all. Like, I'm just like, he is just here to help, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good old Mr. Essex.
Yeah.
Well, Chris, I think one, I've got to get some food. Two,
I gotta
we're
go.
going to go watch. We're gonna watch Madam Web. So
let me know how it is.
Hopefully it'll be fun. And then
I'm sure it'll be.
they said they have some things planned for me today. So,
It is your birthday after all.
yep.
That's why I let your character live.
Oh, nice. Thank you. Yeah.
I have only, in fact, I've never TPK'd any party because it's not fun to kill the players off. Like, it's fun to knock them down. Other people have to heal them and get them back up, but it's never fun to just like kill all the players. But it did happen the session you missed. And what happened was at the very end, just a quick little thing, 2 of the party members decided to join the big bad. So they started killing the people that went against them. So then all the other players went and killed the players that had turned. And at the very end, the big bad was dead. All but one player, who was Jason, was down. Jason was at like 1 hit point or 2 hit points. One NPC that was really badass was there, but she was kind of like a Catwomanish character, and she was just like, it's like, "Are you gonna fight me?" And he's like, "No, I'm good. I'm not gonna fight." She's like, "Good. Should we heal your companions?" And he's like, "Let's just throw them into the fire and be done with them." And I was just like, you know what? That's the first session I've ever had like that. Where I guess one survived. I kind of almost wanted her to like kill him after they threw him in the fire, like when I was in the fire, like just to be like, "Yep, y'all are all dead."
Yeah. All right, man. Well, right. I'll see you later this week.
All right. Talk to you later, man.
All right. Bye.
Have fun today. And thank y'all for listening to me. Bye.
All right.